Podcast, WATP.
You know, he's been doing these cameos. Well, Phil in Canton sent me this one. It's not up on his page, but it's an interesting topic that John gets into. If you're familiar with Woke Dad, of course, we cover him on Who Are These Socials. We've covered him on this show. I've certainly done it a bunch with Drew on the Drew Lane Show. So this is a fun little tie-in here.
Hey, Dan, how are you? It's the world-famous Stuttering John. Doing a cameo from my beautiful Mercedes-Benz that I just cleaned and pulled my back out. Go to the gym almost every day. I don't pull my back, but I clean the car, I pull my back. Anyway, you opened a mobile coffee shop, says your brother Phil.
He didn't say anything about being a brother, so he just made that up. Or his reading comprehension's not great. So he's saying, Dan, you opened a mobile coffee shop.
And, mobile coffee shop. You know, I have one at my gym there. The fuck does everybody want fucking coffee for? I'm so over coffee. Coffee ice cream, coffee gum, coffee candy. Everything's fucking coffee.
Is it really epidemic, is he saying? I didn't realize.
It's a problem, Carl.
It's a real
I don't know if you're aware.
John's really good at Cameo because it'll be like, hey, my husband and I are having our 5th year anniversary. He's like, fuck marriage. Marriage sucks. It's the worst kind of thing. Like, no matter what people are saying that they are into, he hates it.
And if anything should happen, look me up.
Right.
I don't know why he thinks this is his signature. He thinks he's known as the guy. He thinks he's Don Rickles. He thinks he's known for just tearing everybody apart, and this is what they expect. He's got to understand. It just sounds like you're being mean because you seem so unhappy and so wet and just grumpy. It doesn't come off like you're roasting us. You have to be, comfortable with yourself to roast us. You just seem really angry and upset.
Or come up with something clever.
Well,
funny.
I mean, as long as jokes are not an option, I assume it's
Right.
not even,
He acts homeless because he's always in his car, and this sounds like a homeless rant. Coffee candy, coffee this, coffee that.
Coffee. Where the fuck do we come up with coffee? Why don't you have a mobile cannabis fucking shop? That's what I want. Wouldn't that be great? Instead of the ice cream man, you have a thing go off, a little bell comes out, and then it's like, it plays like because I got high, because I got high, because I got high, and you come out of your house and you buy yourself some edibles.
So in his mind, the mobile coffee cart is driving around like Skippy. And adults are running out from their homes. Oh, coffee's here to go buy coffee. I don't think he's understanding what this is.
It sounds like he misses the times when he used to have a drug dealer. That was the guy you met on the street to buy your drugs.
Right.
He didn't have a bell, but you could find him.
He said they have one at the gym, so there's someone driving around at the gym. That makes zero sense.
It makes zero sense. I don't know.
I think the gym is the only thing he does, so he just has to talk about
everything's, there's coffee at the gym. Yeah, there's coffee at every gym. Right.
Yeah.
There's also other beverages, too. They don't force you to drink coffee. Get a bottle of water if you want, maybe some Gatorade.
I don't think he's having many interactions to base, this comedy on, except for the gym, home, and welfare.
Good idea, but you don't really have good ideas. According to Phil, he says that you have a new art studio that you claim is for kids, but it's at-risk communities? The fuck is that?
He doesn't know what an at-risk community is?
I want to know what he thinks it is.
It's 2 out of 3 of your children, John.
I want to know why he's so out of breath. Why is he so out of breath? He just sat down.
He's getting himself all worked up over this. For at-risk communities? What the fuck is that? What? Whoa, is it for charity? What the hell is charity? I've never heard of that.
That's not a good idea.
Sounds risky to me.
Is charity profitable? I'll do that.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, you're the obly one, says your brother. I guess that means obviously. I don't know. And plus, Phil says that you're gay, not like there's anything wrong with that. I know this guy named Lady K who's also gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. This is Stuttering John saying Gagia.
As soon as he hears the word gay, it immediately connects to me in his mind. He can't help himself.
But there's nothing wrong with it.
No, of course not. According to Rob Sell, it's great. But in John's mind, he just hears the word gay. This is a cameo to one person who happened to send it to me because they're a fan of the show. But this never should have even gotten anywhere near me.
Nope.
It's weird, right?
He's out of the Dabbleverse.
No, he is not.
What is that? I thought you were free from all of this stuff, so you don't have to deal with it because it's taking its toll on your mental health and your family's mental health. So why are you giving it as a gift to this Cameo person on their birthday?
It's the only thing on his mind. It's 24/7. It's all he thinks about. He still wants to get back at me and Shuli and Chad. He's really mad at Chad, so...
He talked about once having blocked his wife's new husband, but then unblocking him briefly just so he could insult him and then blocking him again.
And another thing.
That's the way he lives. That's the way he lives his life.
This is what he's doing. He's making fun of you in the least place that you would find it. And he did just yesterday, I think, he tweeted like a name. He was like, Phil Potato. Trying to dox.
Oh, did he really?
He did.
He's still
He
trying
had
to
a name,
dox.
and all the responses were like, I thought you're out of the doubt. If you're not in a war anymore, you can't just like show up, fire a couple shots, and then run away back home. You're in or you're out. So what the hell is that? You're more obsessed with it than anyone in Dabblers Anonymous.
Also, how many times he'd be wrong about with Penis Wrinkle, with Cardiff? He's been wrong dozens of times. Like, stop trying. You're not going to get it. It's like when he was wanting to guess someone's first name. It's like, let me guess.
Hold on, let me guess. You look like a Jason.
Yeah, it's like, you're not going to guess.
Oh, it was Clearwater Chad. He's like, oh, you look like a...
That's right, Clearwater Chad. What's his real name? Yeah.
And the best was the panic on his face when he was like, that's not your real name.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
I don't know your real name.
Yeah.
I need that.
Who the fuck are you then?
Get the fuck off my stream. All right. I put this together. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm debating whether we should just play it all the way through or pause it and comment. You know, I might post this separately. So let's pause and comment as we go. Basically, John just did a stand-up show. And he told us before he left the Dabbleverse that he was working on his one-man show and he's excited about this. And that's what he's going to be spending his time doing, writing jokes, putting together this new show. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to tour this new one-man show. And then he said on his show, I can't remember who he was talking to. Or, no, it didn't matter who he was talking to. It was who he said he talked to earlier that day on the phone. He's always talking to people on the phone. He's one of those guys. Aaron does that. Chad does that. I was talking to someone on the phone today. Cool. And he said, the guy gave me a great idea. I've already written a book. I can make my one-man show just my book. My life story is already out there. I'll just do my book as my one-man show. This is how fucking lazy John is. John's the laziest guy ever. When tasked with come up with a one-man show to get out of the Dabbleverse, prove to the haters you can do it, entertain people again, go back on stage, all these things. Instead of writing new jokes, he went to his book and found what he thought was the funniest part of it. And that was the show. So what I've done here is I put together a video that syncs up because we have the book. I think producer Chris got this for us, right?
Wow.
We have easy for you to say. So I found the part of the book that is his new act, and I've synced it up with his new act so you can see how close it is. There's a couple of jokes he leaves out in his act, so I want to analyze that, like why that didn't make it. Maybe he forgot because he's doing that off his dome, but this is pretty wild right here.
New Year's Eve, we had a whole party. We had the Kardashians there. I actually did hang out with them, and and everyone's there. There's my wife. We just got done with dinner. She's washing the dishes, and then she runs into the bathroom. I chased after her. I'm like, honey, what's wrong? She was like, my water just broke. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean you have to stop washing the dishes. Come on, I'm ready for fucking dessert. Oh, fuck off. And then...
That's my favorite part of his entire stand-up show. That's the please clap of Stuttering John's stand-up show when he explains that he's having a party on New Year's Eve with his 9-month pregnant wife.
Yeah.
And then she's like, my water broke. He's like, so what? We want dessert. And you didn't think that was going to get a huge laugh. Like, yeah, you tell that bitch. Get back in the kitchen. Let's go.
What kind of dessert?
I mean, even a room full of Dick Mastersons wouldn't be like, they'd be like, oh, that's not great.
Oh, fuck off.
Fuck off. Are you following this on the screen, Adam, how close it is to what he wrote in 2017, published in 2018?
It's crazy.
This is 2025.
Word. It's every single word. And listen, laziness is fear. He's lazy, but he's afraid. It's the Opie thing. If I never really try, I never really have to feel bad because I didn't give it my all anyway. So when you make fun of me, it doesn't matter. But I'm guessing, you tell me if I'm wrong, when he had his political show and he would interview women, I don't think he would say this bit. He still would say bits from his act always. It's always at the ready. But this, I think he would know, don't say that. That doesn't fly now. Right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So then why is he telling that woman to fuck off when she's just like, well, that's not funny anymore?
Because
sorry.
The answer to your question, I think, is because he thinks that in the comedy club, he's being edgy. He's being Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show again.
No, that makes sense.
This is his brand, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And actually, I never do this because I never read his book. We just listened to the audio version of it. But on the bottom of every page is a question he would ask a celebrity.
Wow.
And they're all written by Fred and Jackie and Howard. And every single page has, we should go through this. Because I realized he didn't write these, but some of them are fucking lame. But he was so proud of it that he had to put it in his book.
No, you said it. Stuttering John doesn't exist. Stuttering John is a creation of his former employee. And John is simply whoever he is talking to. That's who he becomes, which is why the Donald Trump prank doesn't work at all, because when he's talking to Trump, he stops becoming a comedian and he becomes a politician. So what a boring prank call to hear two politicians talking to each other. That's not comedy. And then that guy hung up the phone and realized, oh, I stopped being the comic and now I'm back with these comics and I realize I just did nothing. And he continues to be like that. He doesn't exist in the car. He's a roast comic, right? Yep. That's what he is. But when he's at school, he is helping the young minds. When he's with Meanie, he is a mentor. But now when he's here, he clearly hates women.
Pest.
And a sex pest. And has no tolerance for anyone that's like, neither the time nor the place. Fuck off.
Yeah. And actually, we're going to come up to it soon. We've been doing this series on our Patreon, the Living in the Past with Stuttering John. And we're coming up to the episode where he plays the Trump prank call that we're talking about. And then episodes after that, he continues to talk about it. And the way he copes is by saying, no, the funny part is that I got Trump on the phone. It's like, why wasn't that call funny? No. The call wasn't supposed to be funny. Oh, really? Because that's what prank calls are. They're supposed to be funny.
You just don't get it.
Could you imagine if Jim Florentine put out a whole album and was just like, can you believe I talked to all these telemarketers? Like, well, yeah, they call all the time.
I bought all this stuff.
You know, just buying it. It's like, that actually sounds like a good deal.
I remember that episode, and I remember him saying, out of frustration, the point of the call was to prove that Stuttering John could do anything he puts his mind to. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then you don't need an audience. Why are you wasting our fucking time?
Right, if you're not going to make it entertaining.
And then she complains the whole time. I'm taking her to the hospital. Most chicks would love to be in the back of a Harley. And then we get to the hospital, and there she is lying on the delivery room table, and I'm massaging her head. She's in pain, so I'm happy. I'm only kidding. I wasn't massaging her head. And then the doctor goes, all right, it's time. I go, it's time for what? He goes,
so he left this part out. The doctor said to me, look, I can rush this and save you money on the yearly taxes. I was like, no, doc, it's my kid. I'd rather you take your time.
What does that mean?
So this is a New Year's Day baby.
Oh, okay.
So right. New Year's Eve, they rush to the hospital. So if the baby's born, he can claim the baby out of taxes, I guess. It was also because I had an OCD thing where I already got in my mindset for January 1st before I left my house. My OCD gets real bad when it comes to my kids. So he left that part out of his act. All right, let's get back to the hilarity. This is bombing so bad. It's so hard to listen to this. Because there's a dozen people sitting there going, ugh. And he doesn't abandon it. He goes through it.
I go, it's time for what? He goes, come on over, the baby's gonna be born. Come on over and see it. I go, nah. He goes, what do you mean now? I said, nah. Because we're talking about come on over here. I go, now. He said, why? I go, because every one of my friends tells me, if you see the baby being born, you're never gonna want to have sex with your wife again. He goes, that's ridiculous. Come on over here. I walked over there. It looked like a fucking CSI crime scene. There was blood everywhere. My wife was stretched out like this. She looked like a manhole with a mustache.
Adam.
Yeah.
This is so bad. What was the back and forth with the doctor? Why was that part of the routine? And he was like, come over here. I'm like, no. And he goes, no, you got to go over there. I'm like, no. What was the point of that?
Showmanship.
Yeah, it's called a back and forth, Carl. You just don't understand comedy.
He's building suspense.
So now he's talking about his ex-wife's vagina, which, if I'm Suzanne or cease and desist. Stop talking about my vagina in your act now, please. Looks like a manhole with a mustache. And that is, of course, all of this is word for word in his book. Okay, let's keep going.
And then what happens? I don't know if this ever happened to any of you ladies. The baby's fucking head gets stuck in there. Did it ever happen to any of you ladies? All right, what happens? Baby's head gets stuck in it. The doctor pulls out these huge fucking pliers called forceps.
He didn't want to use a big word like forceps.
It's a radio thing.
By the way, if anyone in the audience had actually been through that, it's not a fun memory.
Right.
Remember that moment where during labor where you almost lost your child? Who's with me? Raise the hand.
He started panicking and he grabbed the forceps. I mean,
and they're
fun
laughing,
stuff, right?
remembering that time. And yeah, that's not what this is. He doesn't realize who's giving this. This is like, this delivery is of an ogre. It's of a demon slowly dying who sounds so gruff and just like he sounds like a mean asshole. So there's no cute little wink in any of this. Maybe there was 25 years ago when you started it, but now you sound like someone who beats his wife. You sound like an alcoholic who doesn't give a shit about anybody. So it's not funny. Maybe if a good-looking young guy is doing this and the joke is I'm making fun of good-looking young guys that are like this, maybe it could work. But John, this character reading that stuff is just abusive. And I know if he had his show, he'd pull up any mainstream comic and pull up their book and show bits where they said the same thing. That's just a bit, not an entire act that you've been doing for 25 years without anything added, only things taken away, and not a new joke in it.
Yeah, well, this is the new material.
Nope.
This is the only thing I hadn't heard him do on a stand-up show before, and it is bombing miserably. And he's already established at this point, we'll get to more of this at some point, more of the stand-up, because it's great. He's already established with the audience that he's divorced. So to your point, Adam, if he was up here and he's talking about how he has a loving marriage, and he's talking about how, I probably wasn't the best when we had our baby together, probably said some wrong things, you can maybe get away with that with some charm or something. But it's like, we already have a contentious relationship, and when we were together, this is how I treated her.
And this is what her vagina looked like.
It was awful. Okay. Cool.
And spoiler alert, I left her because I didn't like that pizza anymore.
Right.
That stretched out cheesy pizza was no longer appealing, so I went to get some more. Aren't I a hoot?
Pliers called forceps. So there he's got the forceps in there. Doctor's hands are in there. The baby's head is in there. I'm like, honey, next week we go on vacation. We don't need any luggage. We can pack everything in there.
The thing that he left out from his book is laptop, no problem.
That would have killed it.
I know, because you're thinking like, well, I could put a phone in there maybe.
Yeah, but what else?
What else? A laptop? But that's way too big for a vagina hole.
Yeah, and you have to check that with TSA. So that's the whole thing.
Gonna put that in the bin.
Then the baby comes out. He's beautiful. It's fucking easy. And the doctor goes, all right, time to cut the umbilical cord. I'm like, I don't want to cut the umbilical cord. He goes, come on, cut the umbilical cord. I don't want to.
Come on.
Come on, you got to cut it. All right, so I put down my beer. I cut the umbilical cord, bring the baby home. The baby's in the...
Okay, let me read you the part that he left off from that little section. He goes, but then the baby comes out and he's so cute. Unfortunately, what happens is this huge purple sack of blood and pus comes spilling out of my wife. The doctor calls it the placenta, and I affectionately call it the gag bag. And then the doctor's like, do you have any questions? Yeah. Are you going to have sex with her? Because I'm fucking traumatized.
So then the doctor starts fucking her.
With the gag bag. This is crazy shit. Adam's not having fun anymore. Adam stopped having fun. I'm sorry.
He's looking for his gag bag.
It's not a joke that you were looking for your beer. You're drunk on stage holding a beer. That's not a wacky visual for us. Also, he's drunk. The audience is drunk. When they're just laughing at energy sometimes. He's just like, and
or there's a lot of snickers that are just uncomfortable.
Oh,
yeah.
Because John starts giggling and people are like, what the fuck is this guy? This guy's
and now
crazy.
they know if they don't laugh, he's going to curse at them.
True. Yes.
Fuck
He set that precedent. Yes.
Because audience love that. They love when you shit on them early on. And also, I just want to add, if this was your opener, how pissed would you be? Like, how pissed would you be? Like this?
Thanks for warming up the audience for me, John.
Yeah.
It's great. Can't wait to get out there.
Bad watching this. I would go home. I'd be like, you know what? We're just going to get our food to go. Thank you.
I cut the umbilical cord, bring the baby home. The baby's in the crib crying right next to our bed. My wife gets up, rips her blouse off, rips her bra off, and jams her nipple right in the kid's mouth. I'm thinking I'd be lucky to get that on Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the comedy stylings of one John Melendez.
Even when he says the good stuff, even when he's like, so the baby's born and they're beautiful. Maybe the joke would work if you gave something a different delivery. Maybe if it sounded like you were happy about that, you could be upset about that. It just sounds like you're unhappy with your life and you don't want to be there.
Who are these podcasts?